Good evening. Welcome to Investigator News, and this is Justice for All. Let's go after Amazon. Yeah. So, Amazon, I know all of us, a lot of us, not all of us, most of us order from Amazon or Prime, and we get those gifts in the mail. K-9, K9s make good people. Well, William, wait till you hear about these K9s. It's got a question. You got to question what's up. And I think some testing needs to be done. But Amazon now, um, Amazon deliveries addressed to a stranger named Ming. Um, they're not addressed to her, but someone else's name, and she's got no idea why these boxes keep coming. The woman can't stop Amazon. She lived in this lady lives in D.C. and something strange started happening this last fall. Amazon deliveries for items she didn't order. It was to someone else, addressed to someone else, but her address. Thinking this was maybe a possible scam, she didn't know. So she tried to contact Amazon. And trying to get a hold of Amazon is like, I don't know, trying to get a hold of Google. um, so far, she's received 80 boxes plus some. Well, that's the game everybody asked. Hey, is this a scam? Well, how many boxes today, they asked. How many deliveries? How many a couple weeks ago? Now, she says she got 35 boxes delivered in a week, 14 in one day. And the guy shows up on her porch and just starts stacking boxes. Yeah. And she says it was two rows, almost up to covering up the top of the door. It looks like these things are big towering blocks. She says it's the worst Lego Amazon nightmare she's ever experienced. And she explains how the packages are named to someone Ming, Meng. And the woman here says that she doesn't know anybody named Ming. So she called Amazon and told them the packages were not hers. And instead of coming to get them, they said, well, you can just keep them. Well, the situation is the stuff that's coming is children's sheets sets. So it's for a twin bed. She doesn't have a twin bed. And it's coming through the postal service. And the post office, she said, this is a private delivery company of these items being delivered by not only Amazon itself or some third party. And these children's bedding, she said, she tried to give the bedding away, but the boxes kept coming. So that's really, you can't just give it away because that doesn't solve her problem. Because another stack just showed up at her door. And frustrating as it could be, she couldn't just throw them away. She couldn't just give them away. So she kept trying to get a hold of them, saying, change the address on the other one so that it won't come to my house. They said, no, we can't do that. There's a privacy issue. And they said they assume it's a third party. Now, so what is going on with these third party deliveries? Well, you can call sometimes and get Amazon, and you can get them within a day because they know someone in your area that'll get it, take it, send it to you really quick. So that I mean that would work out great. But what about third parties where you're seeing stuff on Twitter and Facebook, and what about even YouTube or even third party Amazon? It seems like China or Philippines or something, and it's real cheap. A pair of slacks for $2, a set of towels for 5. Wow, but it's through Amazon. But it's a different name. It's a third party. Do you actually get them? No. Most of the time you don't get them. Now, I had a friend that, now I don't want to be mean to him, but he's ordered a few things and he never did receive them, but he paid for them. But it was through a third party. So what do we do? Well, you could take them to court if they could ever find them, because these are companies that don't exist. So what did she do? Well, she wrote a message to Amazon and hopefully got the packages to stop coming in that woman's porch. Um, Now, what would the post office do? Well, the post office is saying, she can keep them or she can send them back. Well, she has been sending them back, but the packages keep coming. So she's hoping to resolve this. And in the meantime, 14, she says 5 to 14 packages a day, and it's all children's bedding. Why would someone order that much bedding since last? I mean, this is almost a year. How much bedding do you need for a kid's bed? Or do you have a whole bunch of beds? I don't know. All right, so I love dogs. I really do. And um the K-9 unit and the deputy unit with the K-9 dogs. This is um we have to take I'm going to say we now have to take a look, because there was this guy that I found online, and he had a case, and he said that the police officer purposely had the dog say there was drugs in his car, and it was by command. And of course, with the K-9 units, and I don't want to be mean to the cops, but you got these road cops, these K-9 cops, that when they do jump on the car, they do scratch. Um, if any of us has dogs and they're inside, we know they've got them nails, and they will scratch. Um, and so this guy is suing the police officers because his doors got scratched up, hit the inside of his vehicle, the seats got scratched up, and they never did find the drugs. Were there drugs or were there not? Now, he requested under Freedom Information Act for FOIA to look into these dogs, um, or look into the video of the dog to see what his perspective. And the courts agreed that these dogs were um, on on an impulse for a treat or a certain command to get a treat to react to the cars. And in this case, it was definitely shown. So what we're looking at is they have a, a blind test for these dogs. And all of the police officers are, it's an optional um, test for your dog to prove that they can find the drugs or find stuff in the cars. They're saying 70% are turning it down. Why? I mean, if your dog's that good, if your dog is that good, then let him do the blind test and prove. Because now, I have a puppy and I'm training her. And if I pull out, I call it the crack treats. If I pull out the bacon, oh yeah, she will do anything I ask her to do for that treat. And this is what this gentleman is claiming, that if you give a dog a treat, it will do whatever it can to uh, uh, find what you want it to because it wants the crack treat. Yeah. Now, now this was challenged with um, the cadaver dogs and search dogs here, man, about 20 years ago, 20, 25 years ago, when they were looking at the dogs that search for people or cadavers, and the same thing. And they were saying, wait a minute, you're treating the dog. And so, of course, the dog is going to go out and find anything dead. And if it finds something dead, you give it a treat. Well, it's going to keep going and keep going. And the issue with this is um, um, if they treat the dog and the dog goes and looks further for something, they were getting paid by the government. So they were making money as long as the dogs were still searching. Now, the canine dogs do get money. So are they Should we require that the K9 dogs and the cadaver dogs go through this blind test where it just proves and verifies that your dog knows what it's doing? It's going after the scent, not the treat. And that's all it is. It's a scientific test. Says, are you going to go after the evidence, or the searching for a person without your treats, or if we give you a treat, are you going to go do it? Only because what they found out with this gentleman in court is that they didn't find nothing, and yet his car got scratched up, his seats got scratched up, and ripped. And so the county did have to pay. But this K9 officer stood by his dog and said he has been getting treats. He's been doing this since he was a puppy. And they asked him, "What about a blind test?" He said, "I have been doing this for 10 years of this dog's life. He knows what he's looking for." Or do they? It's a good story. It's a good justice for all. Because what if you're what Mary or William? What if you're driving and the cop pulls you over and says, "I think we got drugs in your car"? And what if the dog says, "Yeah, we hit on something," knowing you guys don't have nothing in your car, but the dog's hitting on it. The dog's gonna rip your car up. So is the cops. And what if they find nothing? Then you got a tore up car. So then what do you do? Well, then you got to take the police to court. Let's blind test these dogs and make sure they're qualified. Let's just not say because they react to bacon or that favorite treat, that favorite little bone with the little stuff in the middle. Yeah, of course. My dog will do anything for her bacon crack. I call it crack. Little crack treats are pepperoni bacon things, and they're little tiny things. She will do anything I want her to do for that. That one little morsel, yeah, she'll do anything. Or even beef jerky. Well, I get the beef jerky out, and she's like, "I'll do anything for you. Just tell me what it is." And, so we have to really look at these dogs and see and make sure. Let's make sure we have to train officers. Let's make sure the dogs are trained in the right way. Now, my other one is another dog story. Oh boy, it's out to the dogs today. Now, this story I've heard so many times, and I thought it was like a wives' tale, but then it did happen. It's these are actual cases that are happening. Now, this guy is, they run his tags, cops run his tags, and they see that he is a wanted felon, and he's swerving all over the road. And so they go to pull him over because they think he's alcohol, because he's been pulled over before for alcohol abuse. And so the cop goes up to the window, and it's rolled down, and there is this gentleman trying to trade seats with his dog. The dog over here, you drive. I'm sitting over here. I wasn't driving, officer. I the, it, the dog. Oh boy. So everybody, I mean, no, we've heard this one. So the guy's drunk and he wants his dog over there in the seat. The dog, it says in the report that he had issues getting his dog into the driver's seat. Now, I can imagine the dog going, "Oh no! You sit in the driver's seat, I sit in the passenger seat, hang my nose out the window, and you do the driving." No, no. But what I think what he did, this guy was pretty smart for being drunk, because he did test drunk at the end of the night when they caught him. Well, he jumps out of the car and runs when they said they wanted to test him for alcohol. Well, he books. Well, they catch him because he's drunk and he's not going to run very far. Um, and he said, the dog was in the driver's seat. He said, "No, you're a wanted felon." So I think what had happened is when he got pulled over and he decided to trade seats with the dog, it wasn't to say, oh, the dog was driving. No, I think he knew he was a wanted felon and he wanted to get time to run, is what I think this was. But now get this. Um, we have now, yeah, um, it has been put before the courts with a lady that she's got one of them self-drive cars, that she was drunk in the car and she was pulled over and she did the same thing. She switched and said the dog was driving. Because guess what? It's a dog for the disabled and emotional support dog. Is this what we're going to start seeing in the courts? A self-driving car and a drunk switching seats. If they're a felon and shouldn't be in the seat, they could switch with their dog. Because this is what this guy was trying to claim in court, that this dog was a disabled dog, emotionally support dog, and it was only there because he had to sit in the passenger seat. And the dog had been there a while. When they checked the car, it wasn't a self-driving car. So we know the dog can't reach the pedals, and we know the dog can't steer. So, wow. Yeah, blaming a man's best friend, some friends. Yeah, I could see the dog going, dude, no, I don't think so. What I wanted, what I really wanted to see, and I dug and dug and dug, is this guy in court or this lady in court explaining this to the judge to see if the judge could keep a straight face, but also the people that are in the courtroom, how they would respond. But no, I couldn't find anything like that. But it's man's best friend, and this I always thought this story was untrue, and I found quite a few in the news. I found this one because it's a recent case, and then so I ran it through search, and lo and behold, I found lots of cases where people are drunk and they throw their dog over in the driver's seat and say, "Oh, it wasn't me." Yeah, what's that song? It wasn't me. I don't know. I know it was some rap song or something. It wasn't me. Yeah, poor dog. The dog's like, well, what did I do wrong? They're gonna take me to the pound. Dog's thinking he's going to the pound, and dude's gonna go spend the night in jail, and he's not gonna be with them. So, uh, all right. So we're gonna move on to this last one. Um, um, I gotta scroll down to it. I guess I missed one. Um, this one here, and it was out of Portland, but then I ran it through search, and I wanted to see because Portland seems like this shouldn't be the only place they're having this issue with, and there was 22 other cities, some in the same city, some were doubled, um, but in a different courthouse. And what I'm talking about is public defenders' lack of. Now, this was a court case in Portland where the lady went in and she wanted a public defender. And lo and behold, the public defenders are very overwhelmed right now. In many cities, we have the DA holding off on cases, but there's certain cases that are felonies that have to be put before the judge for an indictment. They have to be. So they put them in jail. So, how long do they sit in jail for? Now, I can mention a certain issue that has been before us, um, um, but I don't want to really get in politics. I want to look at the crime of this. So Portland and Seattle and Sacramento was listed. See, what happens is when they hold off on these cases, everybody has a right to a speedy trial, for one. That's by law. And everybody has a right to a public defender. Well, when they are assigned to a public defender, then that public defender shows up with them in court. What happens when a public defender gets 30 cases a day? And their max, if in some cities, is right about 50. So then what? So then they get other lawyers that will work for the government to step in and be a public defender for these cases. Well, not all of them are doing that. So now there was a case that went before a judge, and they said, public defender. And the public defender said, I can't take no more. I am so full that we are looking at 6 years before we can even get this case in front of a jury or a judge. We are overwhelmed. We don't have enough public defenders because the DA is holding off on the cases. And the judge said, no, you have to. And they refused, and it went to the circuit court, and it went to the Supreme Court for the states. And the Supreme Court sided with the public defender, saying, how can you expect them to do it? How many years do you want a rapist to wait in jail? What, 10 years? It's already at 5 and 6 for some of these cases. And it's the problem with the states, and it's the problem with the cities, that they are stalling on these cases. Like, when they have a riot, they'll get 30 in there that have to be put in for arson. And the public defender saying, I've already got 80, 90 cases. I can't take these guys. So their option now for these big cities, and I know you guys are going to hate this, they can either wait 6 to 8 years, or they can just let them all go. Now, I know we have heard this from mayors. We've heard it through city councils and even DAs, that maybe we need to just start letting these people out. So the question that the Supreme Court in Portland said was, what if a rapist, if you just decide to let him out, and he rapes and rapes and rapes and rapes, and then he kills somebody? Then what? Oh, then we'll have him back in here. Well, you're going to turn a rapist loose to go out and rape. You're going to turn a shoplifter that shot somebody, didn't kill him, but shot somebody, loose for them to do it again. And it's the Supreme Courts in the states that's actually now trying to step in and stop this. But what do you do when the DA and the prosecuting attorney is stalling? Well, those are they are voted in, folks. So you have to look. If you find out from your public defender, or you keep an eye on how many people are arrested. And if you live in a major city like Seattle, Portland, in California, there's Sacramento, there's Berkeley, Stockton, LA. What about Dallas and Austin? Little Rock's even got issues. Memphis, or Atlanta. A lot. Now, I'm not going to go after politically the states, because we know if you listen to my news, that the states that are having the issues. So so what do we do? And see, this was put forward to the judge. What do we do? And the judge even said, one of the Supreme Court judges for Portland, there's usually 3 of them when they go to the Supreme Court for the state. And one of them said, we're all elected. And if you want change, or if you want something done, you're going to have to get rid of that person, the DA, your prosecutor, your state attorney general. And when you start doing that, because these are elected, until you start changing them out, they will just go year after year, vote after vote, and they will keep doing what they're doing. So, okay, I know this this went quick, and I know we're kind of early, but me and William are coming back in about 30 minutes. I'm going to be on with William now. This, I told you today, things are going to change up. Now we will be on Facebook. We will now go to Investigator News Network. I have no strikes on there as far as I know. And it puts us in a safe spot, while Investigator News 2, we can wait to get the strikes removed. and it's still about a month and a half away. I have one for July, one for August. It got to come down. Now, once those go, then we can put the news back on investigator news too. But until we can get these strikes taken care of, and we're close, then all of our news shows will be on Investigator News Network, unless they get me on that one, and then I have no idea. Yeah, you tell the truth and they get you. All right, folks. So glad you watched today. Please subscribe and hit the like button. Share. This is a new show. Um, and sometimes I do it with Randy and sometimes I do it by myself. But it's to tell you cases like this of, real people that are in real predicaments to where they've been wronged by the law and how sometimes the outcome is in their favor. So thank you for watching, and we will see you in 30 minutes. Be sure to share and hit that like button and ring my bell. Thanks for watching, folks.